Well, howdy ho, good neighbor. That's right, we're here in Alameda, California, flying high above Will C. Wood School. That's right, it's been a minute since I've been here, as the kids would say, and this place is going up pretty fast, I would say. It's been, I think, since May, maybe more. I don't know the last time I was here. I'd have to check, but last time I was here, this building did not have a roof on it. And of course, the big reveal, the steel is being erected as we speak. But on this day, they had the crane up, but the wind was blowing pretty good. So the crane was not in operation. I will just give you a spoiler alert. It was up, but not up, if that makes any sense. But the 10 layer downers were up there, fastening down all the flooring so you can walk on it. So that's one of the main safety concerns when you build a 2-story building, is getting that second floor all buttoned up so people don't fall down or fall through or fall to their death. That is the leading cause of construction accidents of death, is falls. So if you've been around construction any amount of time, that's the most thing you want to worry about. So these construction sites are getting pretty good at keeping everybody off of any area that they're not supposed to be working in. So if you fall here, that means you weren't paying attention. So you can see right here, they got enough work for the rest of the day to put the 10 down, but that crane was not working. It was asleep. So yes, they're going to put a little bit more 10 down for the end of the day, but I don't even see any steel next to the building ready to go and be put up. So they fooled me on this day. I saw that big crane and I said, I better get my drone over there because there's going to be some action. And it was a whole bunch of who shot John. That's right, a whole bunch of nothing. But it wasn't a nothing. I'll take that back. It is a progress report. Like I said, last time I was here, that big building to your right there did not have a roof on it. So we have a new little series that I'll continue to film and do the progress report on. I did have the old Will C. Wood School demolition, but I never got the demolition, if that makes any sense. I just have the old building in one of my old buildings videos. But that was the past, and you can see the future right there in front of your eyes. You can see that slab of concrete, fresh concrete. So you can see that they're about halfway done. That's right, about halfway done with this building, with the steel work. Or maybe even a quarter. I'll take it back because they have a couple more buildings to be erected there. So I'm sure like where the boom lift is at, that's its own separate building. So I don't think there'll be 2 stories there. But the 2-story building, they're probably about 1/3 done, I would imagine. But you can see that the people are not on that crane. There is no workers below it and no workers in it, no workers around it. It's just a whole bunch of people walking away from it. Now, in my mind, I think it's me. I think they don't want the drone filming any of their actions, so I think they're just waiting me out. A lot of people don't like their work on camera, so this could be the case here. But it was blowing a little hard that day, the wind, so I don't know what is the wind limit. You know, do they have a certain wind limit? I don't know. Right here, I had to raise up because I saw something out of the corner of my eye as I'm getting those orbit shots. And sure enough, those orbit shots, that's what I almost hit, was that building. So when you do those orbit shots where you're going off to the side, or even like this one where you're backing up, you don't know what's behind you or off to the side. That's where people crash their drones. So I got lucky on that one. I'm supposed to have some sensors that are telling me, hey, you're getting close to something, but they didn't work. So don't rely on the sensors of your drones, because right there you could see that I almost lost this drone. So I backed up really high, didn't I? That's right. You could see all the way to San Francisco on this beautiful, clear summer day in August. So August of 2025 is when this video was taken of Will C. Wood Middle High School. That's right. I think it's middle school, 7th and 8th, and high school. And now, I don't know if you know this, but it deems repeating that Will C. Wood was the inventor of high school sports. Now, I don't know what that means, but I know that somebody told me that Will C. Wood was a big part of high school sports. So if you play any high school sports when you were a kid in high school, well, maybe you heard or maybe you haven't heard of Will C. Wood. And I bet you those guys right there, they'll be seeing wood. They're the roofers, and they see a lot of wood until they cover that up with tar paper. There's that little tree. I'm glad they kept that tree. Boy, is that a beauty. That tree, I thought they would take that down, but nope, they left it. And that's a good tree to have when you're in the heat and all the kids want to gather around the shade. So the Will C. Wood, the inventor of high school sports. Now you got your magical light box, your telephone. You can look up Will C. Wood. That's a W-I-L-L capital C Wood, W-O-O-D. I always thought that would be a funny name for a joke, but it's actually a real name, Will C. Wood. See, those are the ironworkers over there just sitting by the gang box. I zoomed in on them. That's what made me thinking they're just waiting me out. It wasn't that windy, but it's not always all about me, even though I thought they were just standing around waiting for me to leave. So I went and got a little bit of this guy working. And if you look deep inside there, you could see that's probably going to be their auditorium or gymnasium. I heard a rumor that could be like the administration building. So if anybody knows what this building is, well, it looks like a gymnasium to me, with the high ceiling and stuff. But I've been wrong before. Maybe that's a fancy administration building, but I don't think so. Not next to the field like that, but I don't know. Maybe one day when this school is open, they'll have a tour for all the community, and I'll go see inside of it. That'll be a great video. Well, there you go. Willsey Wood School in beautiful Alameda, California, right down the road from South Shore Shopping Center. Well, that's about all you're going to see of this one. I'll give you a good pullback shot, but I know that these construction workers, they always like to see right where the project was and where it's at. So you can see how much concrete they still need to cover up with steel. So yeah, I was off. They're definitely not halfway done. They're about 1/3. But it never comes fast enough. They always want it done faster, faster, faster. You don't even get time to enjoy your work anymore because the pressure of the time, well, that just does not make it enjoyable. Well, before I end this video, I was curious of what happened to the house that had the brutal murder of the whole family. Is it still empty, or is it still unoccupied, or did they sell it? I don't know. So we're going to go take a gander of this house where this, it's hard to call him a man, but this man, he killed his wife, his 2 kids, and his mother-in-law and father-in-law. So it looks to me like that house has people living in it now. So they did sell that house. I took a look around to make sure I was at the right house, and sure enough, that's the poor house. One person survived. I think the mother-in-law did survive or something. And she ran out of that house and ran next door to the neighbor's house. She ran over to that guy's house and banged on his door. I don't know the full story, but I know that that coward of a man took 2 babies and his wife and the father-in-law. So 4 people, I do believe, passed away in that house. So that just goes to show you that you never know who you're living next door to, especially in this crazy age. Looks like they had no backyard to that house, maybe a little covered porch. So they lived right next to the school, that crazy man did. Well, looks like a new family has moved into that house, and hopefully that history will be erased forever. And I just brought it back up, so I'm apologizing for that. But I was curious. I wonder if they get that house at a discounted price, since it's had such a horrific story behind it. I don't know. All right, well, this video's gotten long enough. You know what this Willsey Wood School looks like in August of 2025. Remember how old you were on that date. Well, as always, I want to thank you again for coming along with me on these Willsey Wood Progress Report adventures. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody.